Democrat State Representative and U.S. Senate candidate James Talarico of Austin. Thank you so much, and welcome back to Ion Politics.
Thanks for having me back.
So, you are announcing endorsements by 100 Democrats from across Texas. Why is this so important to you, and what does it say about your campaign?
Yeah, we've earned the support of public officials all over the state of Texas, from El Paso to Beaumont, from our biggest cities to our smallest towns. Elected officials and community leaders are uniting to take on this broken political system and finally create a Texas that works for regular working people.
And I know that your Democratic competitor, Colin Allred, has also released his endorsements. And I'm wondering for, Democratic primary voters, is this a wash?
Well, I think when you look at the breadth and the depth of our support all over the state, we're truly building a statewide grassroots movement to fight for working people. And I think that's unique in recent history here in Texas. Seeing this kind of support from, again, urban, suburban, and rural communities in every region of the state really shows that our campaign is building a movement that can win all of Texas, and that's our goal in the general election next year.
And I have to ask you about some of the recent headlines that we have seen with regards to perhaps Dallas Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett potentially entering the race. There was a poll by the University of Houston and Texas Southern University that had a hypothetical matchup of four people, including you, and we saw that she had 31%, and you and former Congressman Beto O'Rourke had 25%, and then Colin Allred had lower than that. So how concerned are you about a potential for Jasmine Crockett to enter this Democratic primary for U.S. Senate?
I think competition is good in politics. It's good in business, it's good in sports, and it's also good in our elections. It makes all of us stronger. So I welcome more competition in this primary. I think it's a good thing for this movement that's trying to change the politics of our state and end one party rule.
And I also wanted to ask you about that same poll that shows Allred leading you just by 4 percentage points, but he has a big lead among Black voters, 64 to 26%, a 12 percentage point lead over you among men. How do you change that dynamic?
Well, our campaign is just 6 weeks old. We're the new kids on the block. We've got a lot of work to do to get in front of as many voters across the state as we possibly can. And this group of 100 elected officials in every region of the state is going to help us do that. These community leaders are going to help introduce me and our campaign to the people in their districts, the people in their communities. That's exactly how I'm going to win this election, is reaching out to every single community across the state, trying to earn their trust, earn their respect, and earn their votes.
And I know the same poll came back and said that 51% don't really know all that much about you.
Yeah.
And so, how do you change that? And in some ways, is that a good thing?
Yeah, I think people are looking for something different in politics. I think people are looking for a reset from the Democratic Party in particular. So I think being the outsider, being the new guy is not the worst thing in the world. But it does mean that I've got my work cut out for me. I've got to get out all across this state and meet people and introduce myself and talk about my values, my vision, and most importantly, listen to community leaders and community members about the challenges they're facing in DFW and North Texas, and making sure that if I'm elected as the next U.S. Senator from this state, I can fight for Dallas, for Fort Worth, and everyone across North Texas.
And what do you think it is about your message specifically that is resonating most with Democrats?
Well, when I first started this campaign, I said I don't really see politics as left versus right anymore. I see it as top versus bottom. I think we've got to unite working people, middle class people from all over the state so that we can take on the billionaire mega donors who have taken over our politics and who have taken over our country. That is the real fight in front of us. And so I think people are hungry for a unifying campaign that brings us together across all of the divisions in our communities. That's my goal by running for US Senate.
And just going beyond the primary, if you are to win, how do you relate that in a general election a year from now? And the fact that um, there are a lot of Republicans in this state,
Yeah.
and you've got to convince some of them, likely, if you want to win this.
That's exactly right. This campaign is not just for Democrats, it's for independents and Republicans too. Again, we're building a broad-based grassroots movement of regular people all over Texas who are ready to take on the corruption in our politics. And that's exactly what I did when I first got elected to the Texas House of Representatives 8 years ago. I flipped a district that historically had been held by Republicans. I was able to build a big tent of Democrats, independents, and Republicans to win that seat. And I was proud to fight for those Republican voters when I was a state legislator. I built a pretty impressive list of accomplishments as a lawmaker at the state capitol, bringing down prescription drugs, bringing down the cost of childcare, bringing down the cost of housing. That's what people want from their elected officials. They don't want partisan infighting. They want someone who's going to deliver for our communities in North Texas and across the state.
And my last question to you is, are there any positions that Colin Allred has that are different from yours when it comes to any number of issues?
Well, Congressman Colin Allred and I are very different people, and we've got different issues that we've worked on. But my goal in this campaign is to put forward my record on the issues that I've fought for and the results that I've delivered for the people of this state. I'm not interested in tearing down my fellow Democrats. I'm running a positive race about why I think I'm the best candidate to take on Ken Paxton or John Cornyn in the general and the best candidate to represent all 30 million Texans in the U.S. Capitol as the next U.S. Senator from Texas.
All right, we will leave it there. Democrat James Talarico, we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.